Master Your Emotions and Take Control of Your Actions, A Proven Guide to Emotional Intelligence and Self-Mastery, written by Ethan Carter, published by Great Audiobooks. Introduction, The Power of Emotional Awareness. What are you feeling right now as you start reading this book? Are you curious? Hopeful that you'll discover something new about yourself? Or maybe you're searching for a way to take control of your emotions so they no longer control you. Emotions are a natural part of life. They shape how we think, influence our decisions, and affect how we interact with others. But most people don't realize that emotions can be managed, controlled, and even transformed. Instead, they feel like they're constantly reacting, getting upset, feeling overwhelmed, or struggling with frustration. This book is here to change that. Many people believe that emotions just happen to them, that they have no choice but to feel a certain way. But that's not true. You have far more control over your emotions than you think. When you learn to manage your emotions, you gain control over your actions, your relationships, and your entire life. Instead of reacting impulsively, you learn to pause, think, and respond in a way that benefits you. This ability allows you to stay calm in stressful situations, communicate more effectively, and make better decisions. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean ignoring them or pretending they don't exist. It means understanding them, processing them in a healthy way, and choosing how to respond. Over the years, I have studied emotions, worked with people who struggle with them, and seen firsthand how emotional awareness can transform lives. People who develop emotional control experience more peace, confidence, and clarity. They build stronger relationships, make wiser decisions, and are less affected by stress and negativity. They no longer feel powerless over their emotions. Instead, they use their emotions as a tool for personal growth and success. This book is a practical guide to mastering your emotions. You will learn where emotions come from, why they affect you the way they do, and how to take control of them. You will discover how to shift your mindset to change the way you feel, develop emotional intelligence, and break free from negative emotional patterns. You'll also learn simple but powerful techniques, like the positive jar method, to boost your confidence and happiness. Whether you want to handle stress better, improve your relationships, or simply feel more in control of your emotions, this book will give you the tools to do so. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean you will never feel sad, angry, or frustrated again. It means you will know how to handle those feelings in a way that strengthens you rather than weakens you. It means learning to stay calm, think clearly, and respond wisely instead of reacting impulsively. When you gain control over your emotions, you gain control over your life. This book is your roadmap to emotional freedom. The techniques inside have helped many people take control of their emotions, and they will help you too. As you read, take your time to reflect on each chapter and practice the exercises provided. With patience and commitment, you will develop the ability to stay calm in any situation, build stronger relationships, and live a life of emotional balance and confidence. Your journey to mastering your emotions starts now. Chapter 1, The Hidden Power of Not Reacting. Think about the last time someone said something that made you upset. Maybe it was a rude comment, a criticism, or a misunderstanding. How did you respond? Did you react immediately, letting emotions take over? Or did you stay calm and handle the situation wisely? Most people react automatically without thinking, allowing their emotions to control their actions. This often leads to regret, unnecessary arguments, or decisions that make situations worse. But what if you could change that? What if, instead of reacting instantly, you could pause, think, and choose a response that benefits you? That ability, to stay calm and in control, is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. Why do we react without thinking? To understand why mastering emotional control is so important, we first need to explore why people react impulsively in the first place. It all comes down to how the human brain is wired. Thousands of years ago, early humans had to respond quickly to danger to survive. If a wild animal appeared, there was no time to think, only time to react. The people who hesitated were often the ones who didn't survive. Because of this, our brains evolved to respond instantly to anything perceived as a threat. This instinct is controlled by a part of the brain called the amygdala, which processes emotions like fear and anger. When the amygdala senses a threat, it sends an immediate signal to the body to take action, either to fight or to escape. This is known as the fight or flight response. The problem is that, in modern life, most of the threats we face are not physical dangers but emotional triggers. A harsh comment from someone, a stressful situation at work, or even a disagreement with a friend can activate the same fight or flight response that was once needed for survival. The problem with this automatic response is that it often makes situations worse. Acting out of anger, fear, or frustration can lead to saying things we regret, damaging relationships, or making poor decisions. Reacting impulsively can turn small problems into big ones. That is why learning to pause before reacting is such a valuable skill. It gives you control over how you handle situations, how to become aware of your reactions. The first step to gaining control over your emotions is to become aware of them. Most people go through life reacting without realizing they have a choice. They allow emotions to dictate their responses, believing that's just who they are. But the truth is, your reactions are learned habits, and just like any habit, they can be changed. Start by paying attention to moments when you feel triggered. What makes you angry? What situations make you anxious or upset? Who are the people that cause strong emotional reactions in you? By identifying these patterns, you can start to recognize your triggers before they take control. A powerful technique for building awareness is the pause method. Whenever you feel a strong emotion, stop for a few seconds before reacting. Take a deep breath. This brief moment allows your rational mind to catch up with your emotions. It gives you time to decide how you want to respond instead of acting on impulse. For example, if someone insults you, your first instinct might be to argue back or defend yourself. But if you pause and take a breath, you have time to ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will reacting make the situation better or worse? Most of the time, you'll realize that staying calm is the better choice. Separating yourself from your emotions. Another key to mastering emotional control is learning to observe your emotions instead of becoming lost in them. Most people identify too closely with their feelings. When they feel anger, they say, I am angry. When they feel sad, they say, I am sad. But this way of thinking makes it harder to control emotions because it suggests that emotions define who you are. Instead, try saying, I notice that I am feeling anger. This small change in wording makes a big difference. It helps you see emotions as temporary experiences rather than permanent states of being. You are not your anger, frustration, or sadness, you are simply experiencing those emotions. And they will pass. A helpful exercise for this is the observer technique. When you feel a strong emotion, imagine you are watching yourself from the outside. Picture yourself as a character in a movie, observing how you respond. This technique creates distance between you and your emotions, making it easier to stay in control. Training yourself to stay calm. Just like physical strength, emotional control requires training and practice. The more you work on it, the stronger you become. Here are a few powerful techniques to help you develop emotional strength. Deep breathing. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, take slow, deep breaths. This calms your nervous system and gives your brain time to process the situation rationally. Journaling your triggers. Keep a small notebook where you write about moments when you felt emotional. Reflect on what triggered you and how you could have responded better. Over time, this builds self-awareness and helps you change old patterns. Mental rehearsal. Imagine yourself in a stressful situation and practice responding calmly in your mind. This conditions your brain to stay in control when a real situation arises. Thinking before speaking. Before saying something in the heat of the moment, ask yourself, is this necessary? Is this helpful? Will I regret saying this later? If the answer is no, it's better to stay silent or choose a calmer way to express yourself. The benefits of not reacting impulsively. When you learn to stay calm and not react immediately, your life improves in many ways. You start making better decisions because you give yourself time to think things through. Your relationships improve because you avoid unnecessary conflicts and misunderstandings. You feel more in control of your emotions, rather than being controlled by them. Not reacting impulsively also earns you respect. People admire those who stay calm under pressure. When you remain composed in difficult situations, others see you as strong, wise, and trustworthy. You become someone who chooses their responses instead of being controlled by emotions. Most importantly, learning to control your reactions leads to inner peace. When you stop letting small things upset you, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. You start to feel lighter, happier, and more in control of your life. This is just the beginning of your journey to emotional mastery. In the next chapters, you will learn even more techniques to strengthen your self-control and build emotional resilience. With patience and practice, you will develop the ability to stay calm, think clearly, and respond wisely, no matter what life throws your way. Chapter 2: Understanding Emotional Triggers. Have you ever reacted strongly to a situation and later wondered why your emotions felt so intense? Maybe someone made a harmless joke, but it upset you deeply, or a simple criticism felt like a personal attack. These sudden emotional reactions are often caused by emotional triggers, hidden buttons inside us that, when pressed, unleash strong feelings like anger, sadness, frustration, or fear. Understanding these triggers is the key to controlling our emotions rather than being controlled by them. Emotional triggers develop over time, shaped by past experiences, personal insecurities, and deeply held beliefs. When a situation reminds us, consciously or unconsciously, of a past pain or fear, our brain reacts automatically, as if we are reliving that experience. For example, if someone was frequently criticized as a child, they might feel extremely defensive when receiving feedback as an adult, even if it is constructive. If someone has experienced betrayal in a past relationship, they might react with suspicion in their current one, even when there is no reason to doubt their partner. These responses are not logical, they are emotional habits formed by past wounds that have not fully healed. While emotional triggers are unique to each person, certain common triggers affect many people. Criticism is one of the most powerful triggers because it challenges our self-worth. Even when meant to be helpful, criticism can make us feel inadequate. Rejection is another strong trigger, as it touches on our deep need for acceptance and belonging. Whether it is being turned down for a job, ignored by a friend, or feeling excluded in a social setting, rejection can stir up emotions of unworthiness. Feeling ignored can also be highly triggering, especially for those who have struggled with self-esteem. When someone does not respond to a message or fails to acknowledge our presence, it can make us feel invisible. Being controlled is another major trigger, as it threatens our sense of independence. People who value freedom and autonomy may react strongly when they feel micromanaged or pressured to follow someone else's rules. The first step in managing emotional triggers is self-awareness. Paying attention to our reactions can reveal patterns in our emotions. Whenever we experience a strong emotional response, it helps to pause and ask, what exactly triggered this feeling? Does this remind me of a past experience? Writing down emotional experiences in a journal can be a helpful way to identify recurring triggers. Once we recognize these patterns, we can begin to take control of our reactions. One of the most effective ways to handle triggers is pausing before reacting. Instead of responding immediately with anger or frustration, taking a deep breath creates a space between the trigger and our reaction. This short pause allows us to regain control over our emotions rather than acting on impulse. Reframing the situation is another powerful technique. Instead of assuming the worst, we can train ourselves to see alternative explanations. If a friend doesn't respond to a message, instead of thinking, they are ignoring me, we can consider, they might be busy. This shift in thinking reduces emotional distress. Another helpful method is visualizing emotional control. Before entering a situation that we know might trigger us, we can mentally rehearse staying calm and composed. This technique is used by athletes, public speakers, and leaders to prepare for high-pressure situations. By practicing emotional control in our minds, we make it easier to apply in real-life situations. Developing a positive inner dialogue is also crucial. The way we talk to ourselves shapes our emotions. If our inner voice is full of self-criticism, emotional triggers will feel even stronger. Replacing negative thoughts with empowering affirmations, such as, "I am in control of my emotions," or "I can handle this calmly," helps shift our mindset. Additionally, lifestyle factors play a big role in emotional resilience. Emotional triggers feel stronger when we are tired, stressed, or overwhelmed. Engaging in activities like exercise, meditation, deep breathing, or journaling can help maintain emotional balance. Taking care of our mental and physical well-being makes us less reactive to triggers. Setting boundaries is also important. If certain people or environments constantly provoke negative emotions, it may be necessary to create distance or set limits on how much we engage with them. Protecting our emotional energy is a form of self-care. Mastering emotional triggers does not mean suppressing emotions or ignoring feelings. It means learning to respond with awareness and self-control instead of reacting impulsively. When we take charge of our emotional responses, we gain the ability to navigate life with greater confidence and calmness. Instead of letting past wounds dictate our reactions, we become the authors of our emotional story. With practice, emotional control becomes second nature, allowing us to handle challenges with clarity and inner strength. In the next chapter, we will explore powerful techniques to train the mind for emotional resilience. These strategies will help you stay calm in high-stress situations, maintain composure during conflicts, and develop an unshakable sense of emotional balance. Chapter 3: Training your mind for emotional resilience. Emotions can feel overwhelming, especially when faced with stress, conflict, or uncertainty. Many people believe that emotions control them, but the truth is that we have the power to train our minds to handle emotions in a healthy and balanced way. Emotional resilience is the ability to stay calm and steady in difficult situations, rather than being consumed by anger, fear, or anxiety. It allows us to navigate life's ups and downs with confidence and clarity. Like any skill, emotional resilience can be developed with practice. In this chapter, we will explore powerful techniques that help train the mind to manage emotions effectively. One of the most important steps in developing emotional resilience is strengthening self-awareness. When we are aware of our emotions in the moment, we can prevent them from taking over our actions. The key is to observe emotions without immediately reacting to them. A helpful exercise is mindful observation. Whenever you feel an emotion rising, take a mental step back and name it: "I am feeling frustrated," or "I am feeling anxious." This small act of labeling emotions helps create distance between you and the feeling, giving you more control over your response. Another powerful technique is controlled breathing. The way we breathe has a direct impact on our emotional state. When we are stressed or upset, our breathing becomes shallow and fast, which signals the brain to stay in a heightened emotional state. Deep breathing, on the other hand, activates the body's relaxation response. A simple but effective method is the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, and exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds. Practicing this for just a few minutes can instantly calm the nervous system and reduce emotional intensity. Reframing negative thoughts is another essential skill for emotional resilience. Often, our emotions are influenced not by events themselves, but by how we interpret them. For example, if someone gives us critical feedback, we might think, "They don't like me, I'm not good enough." This thought triggers feelings of insecurity and self-doubt. However, if we reframe it and think, "This feedback can help me improve, they believe in my potential," we experience the situation differently. Training the mind to look at situations from a more constructive perspective reduces emotional distress and builds confidence. Visualization is another technique used by mentally strong individuals. Mental rehearsal involves imagining yourself handling difficult situations with calmness and control. Athletes use this technique before competitions, and public speakers use it to prepare for big events. Before entering a stressful situation, take a moment to visualize yourself remaining calm, thinking clearly, and responding with confidence. This practice strengthens emotional resilience by preparing the mind to handle challenges effectively. Building emotional resilience also requires developing a strong inner dialogue. The way we speak to ourselves shapes our emotional well-being. If we constantly criticize ourselves, we create emotional stress. Instead, replacing negative self-talk with encouraging statements can make a big difference. For example, instead of thinking, "I can't handle this," try saying, "I am strong enough to get through this." Over time, positive self-talk rewires the brain, making emotional control easier. Another critical aspect of emotional resilience is learning to accept uncertainty. Many emotional struggles come from the desire to control everything in life, but the reality is that uncertainty is a natural part of life. Instead of fearing change or the unknown, embracing it as a normal process helps reduce anxiety and stress. Developing a mindset of adaptability allows us to handle unexpected challenges with greater ease. Physical health also plays a major role in emotional resilience. Lack of sleep, poor nutrition, and a sedentary lifestyle can make emotions harder to manage. Regular exercise helps regulate mood by reducing stress hormones and increasing endorphins, which are natural mood boosters. Quality sleep is equally important, as a tired mind is more reactive and less capable of handling emotions. Prioritizing good nutrition, hydration, and relaxation techniques supports overall emotional balance. Practicing emotional release techniques can also prevent emotions from building up and causing stress. Activities such as journaling, listening to music, exercising, or talking to a trusted friend can help process emotions in a healthy way. Suppressing emotions only makes them stronger over time, but allowing them to be acknowledged and expressed reduces their intensity. Finally, one of the most valuable skills in emotional resilience is developing a long-term perspective. In moments of emotional distress, it's easy to feel like the problem is bigger than it really is. Asking yourself, "Will this matter a year from now?" can provide instant clarity. Most emotional reactions are temporary, and reminding yourself that time will bring perspective can help you stay calm. Emotional resilience is not about avoiding emotions, it is about managing them in a way that empowers rather than controls you. By practicing these techniques consistently, you train your mind to respond to emotions with balance and wisdom. The more you apply these strategies, the stronger your emotional control will become. In the next chapter, we will explore how to stay calm and unshaken even in the most stressful and emotionally charged situations, ensuring that your emotions serve you rather than overwhelm you. Chapter 4: The Science of Staying Calm in Stressful Situations. Staying calm in stressful situations is not about suppressing emotions but about managing them effectively. Stress and emotional reactions are natural responses triggered by our nervous system, but science has shown that we can train our minds and bodies to handle these situations with greater control. By understanding how our brain processes stress and using proven techniques, we can remain composed, make better decisions, and improve our overall well-being. The human stress response is controlled by two key systems: the sympathetic nervous system, SNS, which activates the fight or flight response, and the parasympathetic nervous system, PNS, which promotes relaxation. When we face a stressful situation, our body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, increasing heart rate, sharpening focus, and preparing us for immediate action. While this response is helpful in emergencies, constant activation can lead to anxiety, impulsive decisions, and emotional exhaustion. Learning how to activate the parasympathetic nervous system is crucial for emotional regulation, as it helps restore balance and calmness. One of the fastest ways to trigger the body's relaxation response is through controlled breathing. The 4-7-8 breathing technique, developed by Dr. Andrew Weil, has been scientifically proven to reduce stress and improve focus. This method involves inhaling through the nose for 4 seconds, holding the breath for 7 seconds, and exhaling slowly through the mouth for 8 seconds. Research shows that this pattern slows the heart rate, increases oxygen supply to the brain, and signals the body to relax. Practicing this technique daily can significantly lower stress levels and enhance emotional stability. Another powerful strategy is the 90-second rule, discovered by neuroscientist Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor. She found that when a person experiences an emotional reaction, stress chemicals circulate in the body for only 90 seconds. If we do not mentally reinforce the emotion by repeatedly thinking about it, it naturally fades away. This means that when we feel anger, frustration, or fear, we can pause, take a deep breath, and remind ourselves that the intensity will pass if we do not dwell on it. This technique helps break the cycle of overreacting and allows us to respond with greater control. Physical relaxation is just as important as mental techniques. Progressive muscle relaxation, PMR, is a well-researched method that helps release tension stored in the body. Stress often manifests physically in the form of tight muscles, especially in the neck, shoulders, and jaw. PMR involves systematically tensing and then relaxing different muscle groups, which signals the brain that it is safe to relax. Studies have shown that regular practice of PMR reduces cortisol levels, improves sleep, and lowers anxiety. By incorporating this simple technique into daily life, we can maintain a calm and relaxed state even in challenging situations. Additionally, research from Stanford University highlights the power of peripheral vision in reducing stress. When people experience fear or anxiety, they tend to focus narrowly on a single point, which intensifies stress. However, expanding our vision to become aware of our surroundings, without moving our eyes, sends a signal to the brain that the situation is not a direct threat. This technique helps deactivate the amygdala, the brain's fear center, and promotes a sense of calm. Practicing this in tense moments, such as during conflicts or high-pressure situations, can prevent us from overreacting emotionally. Another scientifically supported technique for emotional control is cold exposure, which has been shown to reset the body's stress response. Cold exposure activates the vagus nerve, a key component of the parasympathetic nervous system that promotes relaxation. Studies have found that splashing cold water on the face, holding an ice cube for a minute, or taking a short cold shower can lower cortisol levels, increase dopamine, and improve emotional resilience. This technique is particularly useful in moments of intense stress or emotional overwhelm. Finally, cognitive reframing is a strategy rooted in psychology that helps change the way we interpret stressful events. Research has shown that our perception of a situation influences how our brain responds to it. Instead of thinking, "This is too much for me to handle," we can reframe our mindset by saying, "This is an opportunity for me to grow." Shifting our perspective in this way activates the prefrontal cortex, the logical and problem-solving part of the brain, allowing us to respond to stress more rationally. By combining these scientifically proven techniques, controlled breathing, the 90-second rule, progressive muscle relaxation, peripheral vision expansion, cold exposure, and cognitive reframing, we can train ourselves to remain calm and composed in any situation. Mastering these strategies not only improves emotional control but also enhances overall well-being, helping us navigate life's challenges with confidence and clarity. Chapter 5: The Art of Emotional Detachment. Emotional detachment is a practice that empowers you to experience your feelings fully while maintaining a sense of control over your responses. It is not about cutting off or ignoring your emotions, but rather about developing a mindful awareness that creates a healthy space between what you feel and how you act. This space is vital because it allows you to pause, observe, and choose your response rather than being swept away by an automatic, impulsive reaction. At its core, emotional detachment begins with the simple act of pausing. When you encounter a situation that stirs strong emotions, be it anger, sadness, or frustration, your initial instinct might be to react immediately. However, by training yourself to pause, you allow a moment of clarity to emerge. During this pause, you can take several deep, deliberate breaths. As you do so, you may notice the physical sensations associated with your rising emotions, a rapid heartbeat, tightening in your muscles, or a knot forming in your stomach. Recognizing these signals early on is the first step toward managing your emotional response. By acknowledging these bodily reactions, you remind yourself that while your body is experiencing an intense emotion, it is not necessarily an imperative to act on that impulse. Mindfulness plays a central role in cultivating emotional detachment. Mindfulness is the practice of paying full attention to the present moment without judgment. This practice involves observing your thoughts and feelings as they arise, similar to how one might watch passing clouds in a clear sky. Over time, by regularly engaging in mindfulness exercises such as meditation or focused breathing, you develop the ability to step back from your immediate emotional reactions. This distance helps you see that emotions are transient, they appear, change, and eventually fade away. When you learn to view your emotions in this light, you can approach each experience. In addition to mindfulness, self-reflection is a powerful tool for developing emotional detachment. Keeping a journal is one effective way to build this reflective practice. After experiencing an emotionally charged event, take time to write down what happened and explore your reactions. Ask yourself what triggered the emotion, how it affected you physically and mentally, and what alternative responses might have led to a better outcome. Over time, this practice of introspection not only helps you recognize recurring patterns in your emotional responses but also gives you insight into the deeper causes of these reactions. With this understanding, you can start to break free from old habits and replace them with more constructive ways of engaging with your feelings. Another key aspect of emotional detachment is learning to view your emotions as informative signals rather than overwhelming forces. Consider your emotions as weather patterns, sometimes stormy and intense, but ultimately temporary. This analogy allows you to detach from the immediacy of your emotional experience. When you feel anger or anxiety, remind yourself that, like a storm, the emotion will eventually pass. This shift in perspective is liberating because it helps you see that you do not have to be controlled by these fleeting feelings. Instead, you have the power to observe them, learn from them, and then let them go without carrying the emotional weight long after the situation has passed. As you practice emotional detachment, you gradually build resilience. With each instance where you successfully pause and observe your emotions without reacting impulsively, you reinforce a new pattern of response. Over time, challenging situations that once triggered overwhelming reactions begin to affect you less intensely. You develop a calmer, more balanced state of mind that allows you to handle stressful events with greater wisdom and composure. This transformation not only improves your personal well-being but also enhances your relationships, as you become better able to communicate effectively and respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Ultimately, the art of emotional detachment is a journey toward self-mastery. It requires consistent practice, patience, and a willingness to look deeply at your own inner landscape. By learning to create a pause between stimulus and response, you gain the power to choose how you want to react. This ability is the foundation of true emotional control. It is what allows you to move through life with grace, resilience, and a profound sense of inner peace. In mastering this art, you are not suppressing your emotions, you are transforming them into a source of strength that guides you toward more thoughtful, deliberate actions. As you continue to develop emotional detachment, you will find that you are no longer at the mercy of your emotions. Instead, you become the observer and the master of your inner world, capable of navigating life's challenges with clarity and confidence. This chapter is an invitation to begin that transformative journey, a journey that leads to a calmer, more empowered, and more fulfilled life. Chapter 6: Turning Negative Emotions into Strength. Negative feelings like anger, fear, and sadness are a part of everyday life. They can sometimes feel heavy and make you feel stuck. But these feelings can also be turned into a source of strength if you learn how to work with them. Instead of seeing them as enemies to fight, you can learn to understand them and use their energy to help you grow. When you feel anger rising, take a moment to notice what is happening in your body. You might feel your heart beat faster or your muscles tighten. These are signs that something has upset you. Rather than letting the anger take control, try to step back and ask yourself what is causing this feeling. Often, anger shows that your limits have been crossed or that you feel hurt by someone's actions. By understanding why you feel angry, you can decide to use that energy in a positive way, perhaps by setting clear boundaries or by finding a healthy way to express your feelings. The same goes for fear. When you feel afraid, it is usually a signal that you are facing something uncertain or that you worry about what might happen. Instead of letting fear freeze you, use it to sharpen your focus. Fear can make you more alert, and with a few deep breaths, you can use that energy to plan and prepare for what lies ahead. This way, fear does not stop you, it helps you move forward more carefully and confidently. Another simple way to turn negative feelings into strength is to take a break and clear your mind. This might mean stepping away from a heated situation, going for a short walk, or even writing down your thoughts in a notebook. When you give yourself a little time to calm down, you can see your emotions more clearly. They become less like a storm that takes over your day and more like waves that you can watch and learn from. You can also use physical activities or creative tasks to channel your energy. For example, if you feel overwhelmed by sadness or anger, try doing some exercise, drawing, or writing about your experience. These activities help you release built-up energy in a positive way. They also show you that even difficult feelings can lead to something good, like a burst of creativity or a boost in physical strength. Over time, by practicing these simple steps, pausing, understanding your feelings, and channeling their energy, you begin to change the way you respond to negative emotions. Instead of feeling trapped by anger or fear, you learn to see these feelings as signals that guide you. You gain the power to choose a positive path, even when things are hard. In the end, turning negative emotions into strength is about taking control of your inner life. It is about learning that every difficult feeling is an opportunity to grow and become stronger. By using simple techniques like deep breathing, taking breaks, and engaging in physical or creative activities, you can change your reaction to negative emotions. You learn to let these feelings pass by, like clouds in the sky, and use their energy to build a calmer, more resilient version of yourself. Imagine you are at work and a coworker makes a comment that hurts your pride. Almost immediately, you notice your heart begins to beat faster and your muscles tighten, a clear sign that anger is rising within you. Rather than lashing out or holding in that anger until it explodes later, you pause. You take a few deep breaths and ask yourself what exactly is making you so upset. Perhaps you realize that the comment made you feel disrespected because you value fairness and kindness in your interactions. By understanding the cause of your anger, you can channel that energy into a constructive conversation, expressing your feelings calmly and setting clear boundaries. In this way, your anger becomes a tool that signals when something important is being compromised, rather than a force that destroys your peace. Similarly, consider a time when you felt fear about an upcoming challenge, perhaps a big presentation or an important meeting. As the event approaches, you might notice your hands shaking and your stomach churning with worry. Instead of letting fear hold you back, you use it to sharpen your focus. You take slow, deep breaths to calm your nerves and remind yourself that a little anxiety can be a natural part of preparing for something important. Then, you channel that nervous energy into reviewing your material or practicing your speech, turning fear into a motivator that helps you perform better rather than paralyze you. There are also moments when sadness or frustration might seem too heavy to bear. Picture a time when you receive disappointing news, a setback that leaves you feeling low. Instead of letting the sadness overwhelm you, you decide to step away for a short walk in nature or sit quietly with a journal. As you walk or write, you allow yourself to notice the world around you, the cool breeze, the rustle of leaves, or the steady rhythm of your own thoughts. This break gives you a chance to process your emotions, recognize that they are temporary, and slowly transform that heavy feeling into a sense of calm and reflection. By channeling your emotions into a physical activity or a creative task, you release built-up energy in a positive way, finding that even difficult feelings can lead to growth and self-discovery. Over time, by consistently practicing these simple steps, pausing to breathe, reflecting on the cause of your emotions, and finding healthy ways to channel their energy, you begin to change your habitual responses. Instead of feeling trapped by negative emotions, you start to see them as signals that guide you. Each challenging moment becomes an opportunity to learn something new about yourself and to build a stronger, more resilient version of who you are. Turning negative emotions into strength is not about ignoring or denying what you feel, it's about understanding and using those feelings to improve your life. In mastering this approach, you gain the power to choose your response rather than react impulsively. You learn to view each emotion as a temporary visitor that carries a message, and you develop the tools to handle them with calm and clarity. This shift not only helps you navigate tough situations more effectively but also builds a deep sense of inner strength and resilience that supports you through every challenge life brings. Chapter 7: Psychological Distance. Seeing the bigger picture. Psychological distance is the art of stepping back from your immediate emotional reaction and viewing a situation from a wider perspective. It means taking a moment to observe what is happening in your mind and body rather than being completely swept up by your feelings. Research shows that when people learn to view their experiences from a distance, they often feel less overwhelmed and more able to find clear solutions. For example, studies have found that asking simple questions like "Will this matter in 5 years?" can help reduce the intensity of negative emotions, making it easier to deal with stress. When you face a difficult situation, such as receiving harsh feedback at work or dealing with a personal setback, your first response might be to feel hurt or angry. These feelings can seem very powerful and all-consuming. However, by creating psychological distance, you give yourself a chance to see the event as one moment in a much larger picture. One effective way to do this is to take a few deep breaths and pause before reacting. During this pause, ask yourself questions like, "What is really important here?" Or "How would I view this if I were not in the middle of the emotion?" This simple act of pausing helps you break the cycle of immediate reaction and lets you respond more thoughtfully. Mindfulness plays a key role in developing psychological distance. When you practice mindfulness, you train your brain to focus on the present moment without getting caught up in strong emotions. Over time, mindfulness helps you see your thoughts and feelings as temporary states that come and go, much like passing clouds. This practice has been shown to reduce stress by calming the parts of the brain that control emotional reactions while boosting areas that help you think clearly. By spending a few minutes each day in mindful meditation or simply paying attention to your breathing, you can build the habit of stepping back from your emotions. Another practical strategy is cognitive reappraisal, which means changing the way you think about a situation. Imagine a scenario where a friend cancels plans last minute. Your first reaction might be disappointment or even anger. But if you take a step back and consider that your friend might have a good reason for canceling, your feelings of hurt may fade away. This change in perspective helps you see the event as a minor hiccup rather than a personal failure or rejection. By routinely practicing this kind of thinking, you train yourself to view challenges as temporary and manageable, rather than overwhelming. Psychological distance is also beneficial in handling conflicts. For instance, if you are involved in an argument, it can be helpful to imagine how someone else might see the situation. This can reduce the intensity of your own emotions and allow you to understand the other person's point of view. It is like stepping out of the heat of the moment and looking at the entire scene from a safe distance. This broader view can help you decide on a response that is fair and constructive, instead of one that is driven solely by anger or hurt. In summary, psychological distance is a powerful tool for managing your emotions. By learning to step back and view situations from a broader perspective, you can reduce the impact of negative emotions and make decisions based on clear thinking rather than impulse. This skill not only helps you handle everyday stress more effectively but also strengthens your overall resilience. With practice, you can train yourself to see that even the most challenging moments are just small parts of a much larger, ever-changing picture. This shift in perspective gives you the power to move forward with calm, confidence, and a deep sense of control over your life. Chapter 8: Staying Calm No Matter What. Staying calm no matter what is a skill that anyone can develop with practice, and it can transform the way you face life's challenges. When things get tough, it's natural to feel overwhelmed, but learning to keep a clear and steady mind means that you can think clearly and make better choices even under stress. This ability is not about ignoring or suppressing your feelings, it is about managing them so that they do not control your actions. Instead of reacting impulsively to situations that trigger stress or anger, you learn to pause, breathe deeply, and observe your inner state, much like watching a storm from a safe shelter. This pause allows you to replace negative thoughts with positive, supportive ones, transforming self-doubt into a calm assurance that you can handle any challenge one step at a time. One way to build this calm is by paying attention to your inner voice. When faced with a difficult situation, negative self-talk such as "I can't handle this" can make the moment feel even more overwhelming. By consciously changing these thoughts to something like "I have handled challenges before, and I can do it again," you start to reframe the experience. This shift in mindset, combined with taking a few slow, deep breaths, helps to steady your nerves and quiet the mind. It's a simple yet powerful strategy that can be practiced in any situation, whether you're in the middle of a heated conversation or about to embark on a daunting task. Another essential component of staying calm is the power of deep breathing. When you feel stressed, your body reacts with a rapid heartbeat and shallow breathing, which can increase anxiety. By deliberately taking slow, deep breaths, you send a signal to your body that it's time to relax. This practice not only calms the physical symptoms of stress but also gives you a moment to think before you act. For instance, if you receive harsh criticism at work, instead of reacting immediately with defensive words or hurt feelings, pause to breathe deeply. This momentary break provides you with a clearer perspective and allows you to consider the feedback objectively, turning a potentially explosive situation into an opportunity for personal growth. Building a steady routine in your daily life also plays a crucial role in developing calmness. A consistent routine, such as starting your day with a short walk or spending a few quiet minutes reading, helps create a sense of stability that carries over into more chaotic moments. When you have regular moments of calm woven into your day, it becomes easier to access that state of mind when unexpected challenges arise. A structured routine can act as an anchor, providing a reliable foundation that supports your ability to stay composed regardless of the circumstances. Mindfulness is another powerful tool for achieving a calm state of mind. By practicing mindfulness, you learn to focus on the present moment and observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. This practice helps you understand that your emotions are temporary and ever-changing, much like passing clouds. When you notice your thoughts spiraling or your body tensing up, mindfulness teaches you to gently bring your attention back to your breath or the sensations in your body. Over time, this habit of observing your inner state without getting caught up in it makes it easier to maintain a calm and balanced perspective during stressful events. Experience also plays an important role in staying calm. Reflecting on past challenges and understanding how you managed to overcome them can build confidence and resilience. After a difficult conversation or a setback, take time to reflect on what happened and how you reacted. Consider what worked well and what could be improved for next time. This kind of self-reflection not only helps you learn from your experiences but also reinforces your ability to manage stress in the future. It is through this continuous process of learning and adaptation that you build the inner strength to remain unshaken, even when faced with unexpected difficulties. Your environment also contributes to your ability to stay calm. A cluttered or noisy space can heighten stress, while a clean, organized, and peaceful environment can help you feel more relaxed. Making small changes to create a calming space, whether it's setting up a quiet corner for relaxation, playing soothing music, or simply decluttering your surroundings, can make a big difference. When you surround yourself with elements that promote tranquility, you naturally find it easier to maintain your composure, even when external pressures mount. Positive self-talk and a supportive mindset are essential in building a calm demeanor. When negative thoughts threaten to take over, actively countering them with positive affirmations can change the way you feel. Remind yourself of your strengths, your past successes, and the fact that you have overcome difficulties before. This internal dialogue acts as a shield against stress, allowing you to face challenges with a sense of determination rather than fear. Over time, this practice becomes second nature, and you start to approach every obstacle with a calm, confident outlook. Staying calm no matter what is not about never feeling stress or anxiety, it's about how you handle those emotions when they arise. Life is full of ups and downs, and no one is immune to moments of tension. However, by consistently practicing deep breathing, mindfulness, positive self-talk, and reflection, you can train yourself to respond to stress in a more balanced and controlled manner. Each time you successfully navigate a difficult situation with calmness, you build a reservoir of inner strength that prepares you for the next challenge. Even in moments of conflict, when emotions are running high and the stakes feel personal, the ability to pause and create psychological distance can be incredibly powerful. Instead of getting swept up in the heat of the moment, you can choose to step back and consider the bigger picture. Ask yourself if this particular issue will matter in the long run or if there is a way to see the situation from another angle. This kind of reflective thinking not only diffuses immediate tension but also helps you develop a more thoughtful approach to solving problems and maintaining healthy relationships. The benefits of staying calm extend far beyond handling immediate stress. When you master this skill, you experience improved decision-making, better communication, and a higher overall quality of life. In the workplace, a calm mind leads to increased productivity and the ability to tackle challenges creatively. In your personal life, it fosters stronger relationships by allowing you to listen more effectively and respond with empathy rather than reactivity. Furthermore, maintaining a calm state of mind contributes to physical health by reducing stress-related symptoms like headaches, fatigue, and high blood pressure. Ultimately, staying calm no matter what is a journey of continuous practice and growth. It is about learning to manage your internal dialogue, to take small, deliberate actions that reduce tension, and to build habits that support a stable and peaceful mind. Each step you take towards cultivating calmness not only benefits you in the moment but also lays the foundation for a more resilient and balanced life in the long run. In a world that often feels unpredictable and overwhelming, the ability to remain steady is a gift that enhances every aspect of your life. As you continue to practice these techniques, you will find that even the most challenging circumstances become easier to manage, and your inner strength grows, enabling you to face life with confidence and grace. Chapter 9: Mastering Emotional Intelligence in Relationships. Emotional intelligence is a skill that plays a critical role in building and maintaining healthy relationships. Research has shown that people with higher emotional intelligence tend to have more satisfying personal and professional connections. This chapter explores how understanding and managing your own emotions, as well as recognizing and responding to the emotions of others, can lead to stronger, more meaningful relationships. One key fact is that emotional intelligence was popularized by Daniel Goleman in the 1990s, and since then, studies have confirmed that self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and social skills are essential for successful interactions. For example, research indicates that individuals who are good at reading and understanding emotional cues tend to resolve conflicts more effectively and are more trusted by their peers. This is because they are able to listen deeply and communicate in a way that respects the feelings of others. Imagine a situation where a friend criticizes you harshly. Your immediate reaction might be to become defensive or hurt, but if you have developed emotional intelligence, you will likely pause and assess the situation. By recognizing your own emotional response, such as feeling angry or sad, you can take a step back and ask yourself why you are reacting in this way. Studies have shown that this kind of self-reflection, which involves acknowledging your feelings without letting them control your behavior, leads to better outcomes in both personal and professional conflicts. Instead of turning the criticism into a battle, you can view it as an opportunity for growth, asking, "What can I learn from this feedback? Or is there a grain of truth here that I can use to improve?" Another research-backed aspect of emotional intelligence is empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. Empathy is not just about feeling sorry for someone, it involves actively listening and trying to understand the other person's perspective. When you approach disagreements with empathy, you reduce the likelihood of escalating conflicts. For instance, when a colleague expresses frustration about a project, a person with high emotional intelligence might say, "I can see that you're really stressed about this deadline. Let's talk about what we can do to ease the pressure." This response not only validates the other person's feelings but also opens up a path for collaborative problem solving. In fact, studies have found that teams with high levels of emotional intelligence are more effective and report higher levels of satisfaction with their work. Maintaining emotional intelligence in relationships also involves managing your own emotions during stressful or heated moments. Research in cognitive psychology shows that the brain's prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making and self-control, can be trained to regulate emotional responses. Techniques such as mindfulness meditation and deep breathing have been shown to reduce the intensity of negative emotions. For example, a controlled study demonstrated that participants who practiced mindfulness were better able to manage feelings of anger and anxiety during conflicts. This means that by regularly practicing these techniques, you can improve your ability to remain calm when emotions run high, which in turn leads to more thoughtful interactions with others. Moreover, effective communication is a cornerstone of emotional intelligence in relationships. It is not just about talking but also about listening actively. Research in communication studies suggests that active listening, where you focus fully on the speaker without planning your reply, can significantly reduce misunderstandings. When you truly listen, you are able to pick up on subtle emotional cues, which allows you to respond more appropriately. For example, if your partner hints at feeling overwhelmed without stating it directly, an emotionally intelligent response might be to gently ask, "I notice you seem a bit off today, is there anything on your mind that you'd like to talk about?" This approach can help diffuse tension and prevent minor issues from escalating into major conflicts. Another important fact is that emotional intelligence can be learned and improved over time. Programs designed to teach these skills have shown positive results. In one study, individuals who underwent emotional intelligence training reported improved communication and reduced conflict in their relationships. This evidence suggests that with regular practice, such as journaling about your emotions, participating in group discussions, or even engaging in role-playing exercises, you can enhance your ability to understand and manage both your own emotions and those of others. Furthermore, building emotional intelligence also means taking responsibility for your own behavior. This involves recognizing when you have overreacted or misunderstood someone, and then taking steps to make amends. For instance, if you realize that you reacted too strongly during an argument with a friend, reaching out to apologize and explain your feelings can help rebuild trust. Research shows that accountability and sincere apologies are key factors in repairing damaged relationships and promoting long-term satisfaction. Finally, it is important to understand that mastering emotional intelligence in relationships is an ongoing process. It requires continual self-reflection and a willingness to learn from every interaction. The more you practice, the more natural these skills become. Over time, you will find that you are not only better able to handle conflicts and stress, but also more capable of forming deep, lasting bonds with the people around you. You will become a source of calm and understanding, someone who others look to in times of need, and that in itself is a great strength. In summary, emotional intelligence in relationships is about being aware of your own emotions, understanding the emotions of others, and communicating effectively to build trust and resolve conflicts. Supported by decades of research, these skills are not only beneficial for personal growth but are also essential for creating supportive, harmonious relationships. By learning to manage your emotions, listen actively, and respond with empathy and care, you build a foundation for a life filled with stronger connections, improved communication, and lasting personal fulfillment. Chapter 10: The Lifestyle of Emotional Mastery. Living with emotional mastery is not something that happens overnight. It is a way of life built from daily habits, ongoing self-reflection, and a steady commitment to growing as a person. Imagine waking up each day and taking a few quiet moments to set your intentions. You might sit quietly for a few minutes to breathe deeply or reflect on what you want to achieve that day. These simple practices help you begin your day with calmness and clarity, which then carries over into every situation you face. Building a life of emotional mastery means making a habit of small actions that support your well-being. Even simple routines, such as a short walk in the morning, a few minutes of stretching, or reading something inspiring, can make a big difference. Research shows that these small, consistent practices can lower stress and help your mind stay focused. They also remind you that, no matter what challenges come your way, you have a steady routine to fall back on, a routine that reinforces your ability to remain calm and clear-headed. Another key part of this lifestyle is taking time to reflect on your day. At the end of each day, consider spending a few moments writing in a journal or simply thinking about what went well and what you might do differently next time. This habit of reflection helps you learn from your experiences and understand your emotional patterns better. Over time, you become more aware of what triggers you and how you can better manage those triggers in the future. Staying consistent with these habits is essential, even on days when it feels more challenging to remain calm. There will be times when stress and strong emotions try to pull you off course, but remember that every day is an opportunity to practice and improve. Celebrate the small victories, like managing a tough conversation with calmness or taking a few deep breaths in the midst of chaos. Each step you take builds a stronger foundation for handling stress and uncertainty. Creating a supportive environment also plays a big role in living with emotional mastery. Surround yourself with people, places, and activities that encourage peace and positivity. Whether it's spending time with loved ones, enjoying nature, or setting up a quiet corner in your home, these elements help you feel safe and balanced. They remind you that, no matter how hectic the outside world may be, you have control over your inner state. Ultimately, the lifestyle of emotional mastery is about making a choice every day, to work on your inner strength, to practice calmness, and to treat every experience as a chance to learn and grow. It is a journey where each day, no matter how small the step, contributes to a more balanced, resilient, and fulfilling life. By integrating practices like mindful breathing, daily reflection, and supportive routines into your everyday life, you not only manage your emotions better but also create a lasting sense of inner peace and control. Embracing this lifestyle means knowing that even in the midst of challenges, you have the power to remain steady, clear-minded, and at peace. Chapter 11, The Final Secret, The Power of Inner Stillness. Inner stillness is the quiet center within you that remains steady even when life around you is noisy and stressful. It isn't about shutting off your feelings or avoiding the world, it's about finding a calm place inside that you can return to whenever things get overwhelming. Imagine a small, peaceful room in your mind where you can go to think, breathe, and regroup. This inner space helps you see situations clearly and make thoughtful decisions, rather than reacting on impulse. Building inner stillness starts with taking a few moments each day to be quiet and focus on your breath. For example, you might wake up a little earlier to sit in silence or take a brief pause during a hectic day to simply breathe deeply. When you do this, you slow down your heart rate and clear your mind, reducing stress and letting you feel more in control. Research has shown that practices like meditation and deep breathing lower stress hormones and help you think more clearly, making it easier to handle difficult situations. Another important part of nurturing inner stillness is creating a supportive environment. This might mean keeping your living space tidy, spending time outdoors, or listening to music that soothes you. When your surroundings are calm, it becomes easier to connect with the stillness inside you. Over time, these small habits build up a reserve of calm that you can draw on whenever you need it. Inner stillness also means learning to pause before you react. Instead of immediately responding to a stressful event or harsh comment, take a moment to stop, breathe, and consider your next step. This pause acts like a reset button for your mind, giving you a chance to choose a response that is thoughtful and clear. By practicing this regularly, you begin to see that even in the midst of chaos, you have a stable, peaceful center that guides you. Ultimately, cultivating inner stillness is a journey that takes time and daily effort. It means embracing quiet moments and learning to let go of unnecessary worries. With practice, you'll find that you can remain calm and focused, no matter what challenges come your way. This deep, inner calm not only helps you manage stress better but also improves your decision-making and strengthens your relationships. In a world that can be unpredictable and loud, inner stillness is your personal refuge, a place where you can always find clarity, strength, and lasting peace.